get. Thank you very much for the introduction, and I am Dave Gowans, the founder and managing director of Browser to Bio. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about how you can use psychology to increase the conversion rate of your affiliate site. To give you a little bit of background to me, just to start off, so I've been doing conversion optimization with a huge variety of brands for about the last 7 years. And I founded the company Browser to Buyer as an expert conversion optimization agency. And we work with all sorts of companies, big names in the gaming industry. We've worked with people like Sportingbet and Betson, big names in the affiliate space, one of the world's biggest web hosting affiliates and a major iGaming affiliate. But also a lot of big names, people like Orange Group, Travel Supermarket, Uswitch. And our approach to conversion optimization, it's actually quite straightforward. We do two things. First of all, we look to understand the visitors to our users' websites. So the idea is we run research and we use data and we try to understand what it is that stops those people from converting. And then we look to influence them, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. How can you take someone on that website and use what you've learned about them and using things like these psychological principles to actually influence them and make them take the action that you want them to. And this approach is very successful. Most of the clients I work with will get an increase of between 10 and 30% in their conversion rate within the first few months. So as I say, what I want to talk to you about is a bit of psychology, and there's 6 different principles I want to talk to you about today. And some of these are very well known, you've probably heard of them before. But with those ones, what I want to do is talk to you about them in the context of an affiliate site and show you ways that you can use these well-known principles to actually to work well, especially for iGaming affiliates. And also I want to talk to you about some of the lesser-known ones, some of the ideas that you might not have heard of before, and hopefully they'll give you a bit of inspiration as well. But the first one I want to talk about is one that is probably the best-known psychological principle. And that is the principle of scarcity. And it's something that I've shown Booking.com here because Booking.com are the kings of scarcity and urgency messaging. In fact, this was when I searched for a hotel. Probably could have done with a hotel today, actually, but a hotel during the conference. And as you can see, the page is absolutely loaded with scarcity and urgency symbols. We've got things like hotels are 83% reserved on this date. We've got double rooms in high demand, booked 55 times, and this really nice call to action here, see our last available rooms. And that works really, really well if you're selling hotel rooms. They're a limited quantity. They're something that we can give people the idea. And basically what happens is when you see something and it's scarce and you're worried that it might run out, then suddenly you feel this innate need to get it. You desire it more, and therefore people are more likely to click through and to convert. And if you think about this, it's all a bit of an illusion. 83% of the hotel rooms were booked in this area. That means that there's 17% of all the hotel rooms in London were available for that date. There really wasn't that much scarcity going on, but the way it's presented makes it seem that way. But the challenge for us is we've got things like this on the site. We've got casino bonuses. How do you make a bonus something that is scarce? There's a number of different ways you can do this, and I want to take you through just a few ideas. The first one is actually negotiate with your casino partners and ask them, can I get a bonus that runs out in a week's time? Can I get some sort of limited bonus? And then you can put this sort of messaging up here. You know, this is something that ends Friday. I've got to get it now because it's going to be gone. 2 hours, 15 minutes left. You can get things really limited like this. That works really well. Even better is if you can get something that can only be claimed a limited number of times. You know, discount codes and coupon codes can be set up. Maybe only 200 people can get this. Show how many are remaining. And this is something that people like British Airways and EasyJet do very, very well. There's 10 seats remaining at this price. You really need to get in and buy them. Only 10 more people can claim this bonus. You need to be the one who goes in and does it. But of course, the challenge is you might not be able to negotiate something like that. Maybe the casinos aren't willing to offer it. In that case, you can think about some slightly creative ways you can approach this. So perhaps just rotate the bonuses you show on your site. You know, that casino bonus take it off your site for a few weeks, then you've got an end date. So you can start saying, this will only be available until Friday. It's a little bit, not quite underhand, but you are still being honest. You are going to remove this bonus from the site on that day. This is another technique, and the reason I wanted to show this one is because it's one of the times when I've actually really tested this and got a statistically significant number that tells me that urgency and scarcity works well. So what you're looking at here is, it was a test actually we did first of all for a web hosting site. And the idea was that when you clicked out to a low-paying affiliate, we'd offer you this light box would pop up and say, look, we've got this offer for you with a better paying affiliate. It's better than the one you were going to click out on. This actually worked very well. The interesting thing was, we tested two variations of this. And this is the second one. It's not a limited offer. It's not an offer that's going to go away. All we did was pop up a light box with a countdown on it. This offer will close in 30 seconds. And just putting that on there made 21% more people make a choice here and click out. It's a huge difference, and of course with full statistical significance, just from having a countdown timer. You don't need to have really, really scarce things. You just need to think about ways that you can make the users feel like they might be scarce and ways that you can make that user actually click through. And this is exactly what happened. It got to 0 and stayed there. You know, there was absolutely nothing that counter did other than make the user feel a sense of scarcity. So that's the idea of scarcity. As I said, one of the biggest psychological concepts that is used online. The second one I want to talk to you about today is exclusivity. Now, exclusivity is a really, really powerful concept if it's used right. And as an example, what I wanted to show you here is the American Express Black Card. Now, the American Express Centurion card or Black Card is the world's most exclusive credit card. To get one of these, you need to spend, I think it's $450,000 a year on your American Express. You need to be invited personally to get this card, and it's not just a plastic credit card, this is a titanium card. You know, this is a proper status symbol. This is something that's exclusive. And the idea behind exclusivity is that if something is exclusive, if it's something that's hard to get, or if it's something that only a small subset of people can get, it becomes a lot more appealing, it becomes a lot more desirable. So with this credit card, when you're looking at it, you'd say, you know, okay, so it must be a really, really good card. It's not much better than the Platinum card. If you actually look at the comparison of all the features of this card against the Platinum card, it's pretty much the same. All the same airport lounge access, all the same benefits. Difference is, Platinum card costs $750 a year. This costs $7,500. But people are still getting the American Express Black Card, and they still want it. And it's all about this idea of exclusivity. It's the same reason that the American Marines used to advertise with the phrase, the few and the brave. The idea is, it's an exclusive group of people. You want to be part of it, and that's why you would sign up. So what do we do online? Well, again, this is one from a web hosting affiliate. But what you can start doing is start negotiating exclusive offers. Exclusive offers for your site over other people's. They don't have to be any better than the offers that are available elsewhere. Just start promoting them as exclusive offers. And a really nice thing that they did actually is when you clicked out and you went onto the landing page, they'd actually teamed up with the web host. So they actually said, you know, this is a special deal just for who is hosting this visitors. And if you can get that sort of arrangement with the casinos, then already you're starting to get this sense of exclusivity. And you're getting people saying, well, you know, I really, really want this deal. This is something that's special, and I need to achieve it. This other example here is one that this has worked quite well in various industries for me, and it's quite a creative way of approaching the idea of exclusivity. So this is your standard casino bonus, 50 free spins. Click here to play now. I click out, and I get that bonus. So let's look at what we could do to make that more exclusive, to make it more desirable. First of all, we put a line in there. It's an exclusive bonus, only available to some users. Not being very specific here, but it's exclusive. We've also changed the button there to check eligibility. So you're not just going to get this bonus, I'm going to make sure that you qualify. And how do I do that? Well, we go through a very simple set of questions. Which games do you normally play? I don't care what answer someone gives here, they'll get through to the next step. Do you already have an account? Well, this is a valid thing to actually be checking our users for. They probably won't be clicking through if they do. Obviously, if you say no, you get through, are you over 18? Again, we've got these really trivial questions. We're not putting any barriers up in our users. But at the end of the day, they've qualified. They're in the exclusive few who actually get this 50 free spin bonus. We've put a few steps in the way of them in the conversion path here, so it's something you would definitely want to split test. But just by asking a few simple questions and getting people to go through this process, you can make it seem like they're getting something exclusive and something that they won't get elsewhere. So we've talked about some big ones, scarcity and exclusivity. The next example I want to show you is one that, again, in the iGaming space and the affiliate space, is one that is a major problem for many sites. And that's this. It's the fact that almost every site you go onto has quite a lot of deals. In this case, we're actually going to scroll down. We haven't got 10, we've got 20, 30, 40. And this is quite typical of top bonus sites, a lot of affiliate sites. And the problem you've got here is a psychological principle known as the paradox of choice. And the paradox of choice says that when someone goes in and they see a big list of things, they'll look at it and they'll go, I'm not really sure if I know which one I'm going to choose. I don't know which one to go for. I don't know whether Spin It is better than 32 red or any of those things. How do I make the decision? This is Netflix. This is a typical Netflix homepage. Now, if you think about Netflix, they've got tens of thousands of items of content. You've got box sets, you've got TV shows, you've got films. But yet, how many do I get shown on my homepage? 7 plus a hero image. And the reason for that is if I go into Netflix in an evening and scroll through 10,000 items, I'm never going to end up watching anything. If I go in there and get to pick from 7 items, then that's quite straightforward. That's something I can do. I'm still exercising my choice, but it's a lot easier for me to make. Now, there are a lot of good reasons to put a large number of items on your page. For example, you want to have a lot of deals on there because maybe someone's already signed up with one of these casinos and, they need. Maybe you want to look like you have a huge range and that's part of your offering is we've compared all the casino bonuses. So some of the things you can do to overcome that. This is, again, back to the world of web hosting, but again, it's a very similar thing. This is their top 10 listing of top 10 web hosts. And as you can see what they've done, they've still got the 10 on there, but the top 3 here are presented as much bigger. They have much more information. Instead of choosing between 10 web hosts, I'm choosing between 3, and that's an easy decision to make. And if I'm in a hurry, well, I'll go with SiteGround at the top because it's got all these other psychological things drawing me towards it. But making it simpler and making the decisions easier for people are going to increase your conversion rate. And here's an example actually from a top gaming affiliate. And you see what they've done here. It's pretty obvious which selection I'm going to make when I go to this page. I'm going to go with Casinoland because that's pretty much the only option I've been given. I've still got 4 options underneath there if, for example, I've already got an account with Casinoland or for some reason I don't want to take that bonus. But at the end of the day, what they've got is one very, very large offer, and they're taking away the paradox of choice. They're overcoming that psychological challenge. So they're in a much, much stronger position to actually recommend to people that they take this deal. And I know these guys do a lot of testing, so this has clearly come out as the top result for them. So overcoming the paradox of choice is a really strong way to start increasing your conversion rate. The next concept I want to talk about is one that is particularly relevant for us in the gaming industry. It's a concept that you're probably all familiar with in some form, and that's known as the hot hand fallacy. And the idea of the hot hand fallacy is that if you've had a positive outcome from doing something, your mind will make you believe that doing it again and continuing with that will continue to give you positive outcomes. So it's exactly this sort of thing. I've just spun and I've won on slots. I've won £10. My mind says to me, okay, I'm more likely to win again. My next spin is going to make me more likely to win. I'm on a hot streak. I'm on a winning streak. The dice are hot if I'm playing craps, something like that. Now, we know there's absolutely no difference going on there. If I spin this again, it's the same random number generator. I've got the same chance. But this is a very, very strong principle, and this is why people in casinos all around the world are sitting there and they won't leave the machine and they won't move on because they think they're on a hot streak and they don't want to stop it. It's the same reason that if you're looking at something like Bitcoin, for example, and it's heading up towards $19,000, it's going up, that's good, it'll continue going up. It's why people buy into bubbles, and of course, we all know that doesn't always continue. So that's great. This is a really nice concept in the gaming world. How does it work for affiliates? How can you turn that to your advantage? Well, this example I'm going to show you is actually from a landing page for a casino, but I've seen this done on affiliate sites as well, and it does work very well. And it's the idea of having a sort of full slot machine. So I've spun there, and amazingly, I've just won a £1,000 bonus. Everyone wins the £1,000 bonus, just in case you're wondering. But the idea is, this gives me a really, really strong point. I am now in a position where I've won £1,000. Brilliant. I better get in there and quickly sign up so I can spin again and win the next 1,000, because the hot hand fallacy says that I'm more likely to win. I'm already on a winning streak. So this is a really good place to get the person into. They're in this winning mentality. They're ready to play. So you can try doing something like this on your site. Gamify it a little bit. Make it seem like they've won it. And you can see the other psychological concepts come into play here as well. There's a little bit of exclusivity going on here. You get the concept, another principle called loss aversion, that says that once I've got something and it's mine, I'm very, very worried about losing it. I've won this bonus. It's my welcome bonus. I don't want someone to take that away from me. So I'm going to go away and make sure I use it. So this is a really, really nice technique, and it fits very well with the industry, and it fits very well with what the visitors are coming in to do. So we've looked at all sorts of things in the gaming industry. I'm now going to move to the sort of the medical world, and this is another one of those sort of well-known concepts, and it's the idea of authority. And authority is a very, very strong psychological concept. And you can see how it works with a very simple example. If one of you comes up to me and says, look, Dave, you need to be more healthy, you need to eat more fruit and veg, and you need to go out for a run every day, I'll say, yeah, thanks, that's great advice, and I probably won't do it. If this doctor comes up to me and he says, look, Dave, for your health, you really need to make sure you eat more healthily, you need to get out and do more exercise, I'm probably going to listen to him. He's got a medical degree, he's got a white coat, he's got a stethoscope, he's got my notes there on his clipboard. He's an authority figure. If he tells me what to do, I'm far more likely to do it. And you don't need to be a doctor for this to work. Simply it's how you dress. So wearing a high visibility jacket, if you go around wearing a high visibility jacket, people assume that you've got somewhere to be, you're an official, you're doing something. It's why con men can go around to pensioners' houses dressed as council workers and convince them to do things. It's why there was a great story I was reading here where some con men went into a disused car park wearing high visibility jackets and started charging people to park there. Probably walk around at the back in the backstage here at the XL wearing a high visibility jacket because you look like you fit in. You look like an authority figure. Again, it's a great thing we can start to use in the affiliate world. And there's a couple of examples of ways you can do that. I'm going to start off with a very British example. This is moneysavingexpert.com. For those of you who don't know about this site, this is run by a guy called Martin Lewis. He set it up about 15 years ago. He was a journalist, and he started writing about money saving and recommending things like credit cards and loans. And he sold this to one of the top price comparison sites a few years ago for over £84 million. So it's been a very, very successful affiliate site. He's not really involved in it anymore. But you still see his photo up the top here. You still see his name there underneath the title. And when you go into the About Us, there's a load of information there about how great Martin Lewis is and what he knows. And this is all about the fact that he is an authority figure. A lot of people in Britain will see Martin Lewis and go, he knows what he's talking about. He knows money saving. He knows how to recommend me to the right loan or the right credit card. And if he knows what he's talking about, I'm just going to take his recommendation. I'm not going to go off somewhere else. Personally, I know if I want to find the best bank account, I'll probably go to his website and look it up because he's an authority figure. And that's a difficult thing to do. I mean, it takes time to build yourself up as an authority figure. But on your site, you could build yourself or even a persona of someone else. You could create someone who is supposedly the expert on slot bonuses or the expert on no deposit bonuses, for example. And then it's all about building that reputation through PR, through newspapers, through getting mentions places, and making sure you build up that sort of history and making that person into an authority figure. If you don't want to go down the route of making an authority figure, you can do it another way with sort of statistics and information and data. So this is a different web hosting affiliate, but again, they've had a really nice approach at being an authority figure. So if I'm going and looking for a web host, well, look, they've looked at 30 different web hosts. I've only looked at 2 or 3. They must know more than me. What's their process? Well, they sign up with them, they set up a WordPress website on each one, try out the customer support, and then track them for their uptime. That's a lot of stuff. I'm not doing anything like that if I'm looking for a web host. You're an authority figure. You know what you're talking about. You're paying customers. You're putting your money where your mouth is. And this one I think is really nice. They say they've been doing this over a period of 37 months. That's not 3 years. That's 37 months, because 37 sounds much bigger than 3. It's a longer time period. It gives them more authority. It's all those sorts of things. There's so many small, subtle things on a site that you can do to support it. Like these, for example, they've got hosting facts. What was the uptime of that host when they last checked it? Here's a graph showing what the ping times were every time they checked the host. Nobody actually goes into the detail and looks at these, but they see that they're there, and it gives you the sense of authority. In fact, at the bottom here, they've actually got their Google Sheet of all the raw data that they've used to analyze all these different hosts. Nobody's going to go on there except maybe their competitors, but that information is there, and it gives the sense of authority. By being an authority figure, people will listen to what you say, and they'll go and they'll choose whatever bonus you want to recommend them to. So the final psychological principle I wanted to share with you is, again, a very famous one. But it's a very famous one in subscription services, and a very famous one that can be used around all sorts of businesses. But it's not one that a lot of people think about in the affiliate world. And it's the idea of the decoy principle. Now, I'm just going to run through the standard example for those of you who maybe don't know the decoy principle. But the idea is, if I have 2 bottles of wine, £7 and £10, the one on the right here looks expensive. It's more expensive than the £7 wine, and if you ask people which one they're going to buy, probably get a split between the 2 of them. If I introduce a £15 bottle of wine, well, this one in the middle is now cheaper. It looks cheaper compared to the £15 one. So I'm more likely to pick it. And actually what happens, I don't want anyone to buy the £15 bottle of wine. I want them to make them think the £10 one is cheaper and buy more of the £10 bottle of wine. And I maximize my revenue. It's a simple concept, but it works. And you'll see this on restaurant menus. You'll see it on subscription services. There's a very, very famous example here of The Economist. And what The Economist did was they had an online subscription, they had a print subscription, and then they offered a print and online subscription. And if you look at the prices here, online is $59, print is $125, print and online is $125. Why would I possibly choose the print subscription if I can get online as well for the same price? But what the print subscription does is it makes print and web look like a much better deal. It doesn't just work in subscription services. If I want to go out and get a date in a bar, I might want to take a wingman with me, take someone along. Exactly the same principle works. If I go into a bar on my own, then someone is maybe judging me on, is he good looking? Is he good to talk to? Is he interesting and funny? So if I take a friend along who's slightly less interesting, or slightly less good looking, or slightly less funny, suddenly people are comparing the 2 of us and says, well, I'm going with Dave. He's the better of the 2 choices. And that's why if you're ever going out to pick up a date in a bar, take a less attractive friend. And if you're asked by a friend to go out with them, you should maybe be worrying. So if this concept works, how do we apply it on an affiliate site? Well, here's a bonus. £500 welcome bonus, 120 extra spins. Just like the bottle of wine, I don't know if this is a particularly good deal or not, so let's put a decoy in. There's a £500 welcome bonus. It's obvious which of these 2 I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick the one that comes with the free spins as well. I don't necessarily want anyone to go to Matchbook. I want to send them all to Party Casino. So what you need to start thinking about is that this decoy effect is going to be happening, whether you like it or not. You need to think every time you present a deal, what are people comparing it to? Is there something there that's making it look better or worse value? And can you introduce something, a decoy, that would make that deal, the deal you want them to take, look better than the others? So before my slides continue skipping on away with me, just to wrap up the 6 conversion and psychology principles I've shared with you today. We start out with scarcity. So scarcity is all about making things seem more desirable by making them a limited quantity. If people think something's going to disappear or run out, they're going to desire it more, they're more likely to click, they're more likely to convert. Exclusivity. Make it seem like it isn't available to everyone. Make people work a little bit to get their deals. Make sure they have a chance to prove to people that they're getting something that's special. And again, it's more desirable. Avoid that paradox of choice. Don't force people to make a decision between a load of different options. Cut it down for them. Show that the range is there, but give them 2 or 3 options and help them to choose from that. See if you can play on that hot hound fallacy. Get people into that idea of winning. Give them a small win, and they'll think there are more to follow, and they'll be more motivated and more likely to convert. See what you can do to make yourself an authority figure, whether that's building up your reputation through a personality, or whether it's using things like data and examples, or even just building up how long your business has been around and showing it as 37 months instead of 3 years. And finally, think about how you use that decoy effect. Think about how people are going to see individual deals, and can you bring in another one to make a deal seem more attractive? And you should always go out and test these things. As a conversion optimizer, I always say go out and do a split test. But I can always guarantee you that if you try one of these, if you go away and try one of these on your site, you will see a significant increase, and you will see a significant uplift in your conversion and your revenue. I know we're very short of time and won't have time for questions straight after, but I will be around this area after the talks. So if you want to talk to me about any of these or anything else in conversion optimization, then please come along. But thank you very much, and I'll pass you over to our next speaker.
Okay, as Dave said, playing a little bit of catch-up, but that was fantastic. Thanks, Dave. And we're going to hand over to Feely from Search Brothers now, who's going to be speaking on migrating to HTTPS. Over to you, Feely.